Heya, what's going on, guys, and welcome to my very first voiced ship Spotlight. So this is the TSC Nightingale of the Terran Space Command Force. So as you might have seen, I have already put this link of the ship the workshop link already in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into this. So first of all, this is the ship. It's completely made out of the almost black blocks, which make it in sunlight like a kind of asteroid color, and in the dark a much darker one. So the way I designed this was, first of all, I wanted to make it like a private craft, which you could use to like explore other worlds with it. And then as I made the design from the back on forward, I started to think more about a stealth ship, because it looked so much like a real life Blackbird or something like that. Black Hawk, I don't know. No, that's probably a helicopter, but I don't know. But anyway, one of those stealth planes that the American army uses. So I thought, why not just go with it? So I went for that design. I made it a bit streamlined with, of course, some monoblocks, because let's be honest, you can't make cool ships without monoblocks. So yeah, here you go. You can see the rams over here, and we've got some wing blocks for aerodynamics over here on both sides. So let's first off start with the front of the ship. So at the front we have a Vulcan minigun, which is kind of useful if you are like chasing down other aircraft in a dogfight, because yes, this stealth plane does have weapons. It is not recommended that you use it as a fighter or bomber though, but if it has to, it can defend itself. So over here we have the Vulcan anti-fighter gun. We have a few rocket pods on the side. This is mirrored, by the way, so this one is also on the other side. The cockpit we will look at in a bit. Excuse my English, it's not my first language, pardon me. So yeah, so it's more armor plating around the side, some thrusters like notched in the hull. And yeah, we got the airlock over here, which we will go to in a second. We've got the wing, which also has two rocket pods in it, like in the front, and some autocannons on the top with blinking lights to show other planes that this plane is coming in. Now at the back we have a shit ton of thrusters, because this thing is actually quite big. Let me see if I can go in spectator mode and show you. If you see me, this thing is kinda large. So yeah, it needs quite the thrust to go forward, let's just say that. So we've got some azimuth thrusters here, which go very well with the design. It's hydrogen powered, so it needs ice in the cargo containers to actually function in survival. Keep that in mind. We also have two gunners over here. These are also Vulcans, like the front, so these are very handy for taking out small ships. They are less effective at large ships, but they do the job against small ships very well. So if you are being chased by fighters, this is the way to go. Now we have a connector here which connects up to everything in the ship. You can already hear the oxygen generators working and stuff. So yeah, this is another mirrored one side of the wing. Here is no airlock, because if I did it on both sides it would look kinda weird. So normally this can be very loud. Let me see if I can touch this. Oh, that was loud. Okay, so normally this is extended like on the planet. Oh, before we do that, I need to show these. So this is with a mod. I think it's called Takeshi or something, and it adds all these wing plane parts. I've also covered that in the workshop, I think. What mods you need for this to work for the ship. So you have like those hinges, and then with a blast door block and a landing gear. So these can actually fold in, and the plane will be completely flat. Well, almost flat on the bottom. So let's go in here. This airlock works pretty simply actually. You press this button, it will start a 2-second timer. So you have some preparation to start it. So let's activate this. This will go open. As you can see, it is airtight, so we will wait for this to close. We will go inside the ship. Now over here, this is the airlock. This is a pretty normal space. You got quite the room. You got some lights. You also got wait until both doors are closed before opening. And then we can see we have button number 2, which we will activate now. And this will open up the middle section or the inner section. So right here we have, oh yeah, you also got a camera, so you can see from the gunner seats who are in here. So first of all, the first thing you see when you enter this is these 2 seats over here. These are gunner seats. If we go in here, you can actually control the Vulcans, which are on the back, for anti-fighter fire. Over here we have the enable and disable dark mode, so they can enable and disable the dark mode, which will actually disable all lights and communication systems on board. So it will actually go into a stealth form. Now, next up we have 2 cameras, one on the rear of the ship for landing, which is pretty easy because this ship has, of course, uses aerodynamics. I don't recommend using this without. Because if you go too fast and you can't pull up, you are basically fucked. So, just saying that right off the bat. What I usually do, this rear camera, which is on the back between the 2 main thrusters, I don't know if you can see it right there, it's like the little bulb, is used because if you land it vertically, it's way easier than if you land it like horizontally. So if you are hovering, or of course if you are at a complete standstill, you can of course go downwards and stuff, but if you are going at high speed and you need to stop immediately, do a backflip, and the inertia thrusters and aerodynamics and the wing blocks will make it so that you will come to an almost complete standstill. Now those are the 2 gunner seats. This one is practically the same. You also have the airlock timers and the airlock camera, which you can see, which is actually pretty cool. You can look inside who is in the airlock and let them in or don't let them in. So next up we have on the right here, we have some oxygen and hydrogen generators and tanks for storage. We also have some vents, which are up here, azimuth vents and other sort of things, and majiggers. So over here we have, this airlock thing is not really nice. How can I put this off? Oh, X. No, X, okay. So we're gonna just do this. So right here we have the batteries and some azimuth reactors behind there, as you can see. I went with this design because it kind of looks cool, like a little sort of wire going over and a sort of power core down there. Another few reactors over here. We got a jump drive up here, which is actually very handy if you are a stealth plane and you gotta get out of a sticky situation really fast. We got some shield generators, so this ship, whoa, what's happening? This thing can actually take quite the punch. Let me just configure this gravity thing real quick, because, hello, can I get, there we go. There we go. I'm just gonna put this all the way up for now, so we don't run into any trouble. There we go. So, yeah, so that's the back part. If you go into spectator mode, you can actually see, like we're standing right here right now, and if you go back here, you can actually see that every single thing is connected by conveyors, tanks, and all the stuff. So also this is completely survival ready. Everything is connected to itself. The connector is basically connected to every single thing in this ship which needs a connection. So yeah, that's basically the back. Now if we go back to our character, here we go. These LCDs, which I mentioned, are real-time updating. We've got the hydrogen tanks, which are now at 100% capacity because I'm in creative mode, of course. The cargo mass, which shows how much mass of 1 kiloton it actually uses. The cargo in total used, like the power, the amount of things that are not broken, like if a gyroscope would break, then you would see 44 out of 45 and stuff, and you can see that everything is working fine. Now on the right over here we have not a ship projection of the ship itself, and you can see that everything is running normal, everything is green, everything is going fine. Nothing is broken. Total gravity, speed, ground, like how much or how many meters the distance to the ground is. Dampeners too. So yeah. Up here we got a little relaxing table, like if you want to take a break or something, you could like sit here, watch the time of day, and just look at how the ship is doing. Now I didn't bother putting any glass in here, which was my first thought of putting in here, because it is kind of a military plane. It can also be used, don't be alarmed, this can also be used as a private ship, like for exploration. It is very handy for exploration because you have a jump drive, lots of cargo space, and you are basically ready for long distance travel. So yeah, so now we come to the cockpit, which is also pretty cool. If I do say so myself, you got there's a few ramps to get a bit higher, and if you get in here you've got a nice view all around you. Now over here we have 5 LCD panels, 2 sloped and 3 like straight up. Now on the left panel we can see, if we can, like the blurry field of view is like screwing it up. The far left panel we have reactors, batteries, and the power in total we have. At the one on the right of that we have the power usage, hydrogen tanks and the oxygen tanks, and then we have our current speed, the dampeners, the location, and on the right of that, on the right of that we have the natural gravity, the artificial gravity, the total gravity, and the ship mass, cargo used, and all the other cargo som ik bristle. And on the right of that we have the jump drive charge, the gravity, and the 3 most power using things on the ship. So that's basically a little tour of the ship itself. Now let's test some of the weapon systems we have on this bad boy. We of course have a antenna, so we can find other ships with it, but if we enter dark mode, this will disable, so we won't be able to see others, but they can not see us. Now if we real quick switch our toolbar here, we've got 2 toolbars. We've got the main flight and the miscellaneous other thingamajiggers, which I'm gonna get to in a second. Now the first things here, wait, let me just do this real quick and shut that in. Let's test out the weapon system. So first of all we have the Vulcan gun on the front, which makes this like thunderbolt minigun sort of sound. Very handy if you want like to spray down fighters or lightly armored enemies. Now second up we have the auto cannons on the wings, which are the yeah, you can see them at the end of the wings. As you can see, these pack a real punch. So these are quite hard to aim because of course they shoot in like big, yeah, you can see why. So these are pretty handy for attacking large ships and small ships if you can hit them right with it. And number 3 are the rockets, which shoot in total 6 rockets, which is 2 per ring, so it's 4, and then 2 on the front, which makes 6, as you can see. There it goes. So these are actually handy at both targets, large and small, but small would be a bit harder to hit if you were in a dogfight. Now of course on our hotbar number 4 we have our modular thrusters, which we can turn off. There we go. They still glow though, but they do not do a thing. As you can see, we can like go forward and go back. But if you put them all on, you can see that now they work, as you can see. So you can put those off and like avoid the risk of being seen more easily. Number 5 does the same thing, but only for the hydrogen thrusters. Of course, number 6 is the rear view camera, and the landing gears are number 7 and 8 and 9. Now number 7, what that actually will do, let me just go into spectator mode so you can see this more easily. If we press number 7, it will actually fold them in place. Now of course the thing with rotors is that if you place them and you land, that sometimes they, you know, can sort of collapse, if I say that right. I don't know for sure, but they like fold in without you asking. So they fold in if you land, like the ground pushes them back in, which of course you need to do something else. You have to lock them. So if you press 7 and you extend them, you press 8, which will lock them in place. As you can see them moving quite slightly. Number 8 will lock them in place so they won't move anymore. Now if you land, you simply press 9 to switch the lock, which is now irrelevant because we are not stationed on anything. So we will release the lock, fold them back in, and as you can see, oh, whoops. Oh, that's not good. See, 8. You can see that they are now fully folded in and are basically almost hidden, which is pretty nice. I could also make these a bit more, you know, folded up, but you know, it's fine. To avoid collisions, it's fine. Anyway, so that's basically the first part of the hotbar. So the second part over here is pretty simple. We've got the boarding ramp, which is loud as shit, Jesus. The boarding ramp on number 1. My god. Then on number 2 we have dark mode, and which looks kind of like this from the outside. As you can see, the lights turn off, the thrusters are still on, of course. But as you can see, our antenna has disappeared and we are now a ghost ship. So if you... I sort of couldn't find shutters to shut these, because they have like these particle effects and they count as blocks. So it would be cool if they then shut the thrusters and you wouldn't be able to see the lights. But if you go far away, it is almost like unnoticeable. Like you can't see the lights from that far away. So that's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Now, if we turn dark mode back off, here we go. Everything's back on. We have the jump drive, increase distance and decrease distance. So we actually can go into hyperspace, which I will show you right now. The gyro on this thing is pretty nice. It's got some nice maneuverability. It is capable of atmospheric flight, which is very, very nice, because if you want to land on a planet, that's the whole point of an exploration ship, right? So, right now, if we like jump 5 kilometers, we can, wait, that's the natural gravity field, like aim a bit up, there we go. You can see the weight of transported mass is like this amount, and yeah, 5 kilometers, there we go. We click yes. We go back into our... Oh, no, 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 no. That was a bad mistake. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Jump. Boom. Oh, and we have a military transporter. You know what? This is a perfect mission for the Nightingale to intercept that transport. But yeah, so you got those jump drives on the bottom, and you got the 2 airlock doors which you can open manually, but I wouldn't recommend that unless it's on a planet, because otherwise the air will go out and you will suffocate. So for the rest, there are no other hotbars, so let's go and test out the military capabilities of this bad boy, shall we? Here we go, let's do this. So as you can see, our acceleration, I'm using a speed mod, which makes small ships go 350 meters per second and a large ship 250, which makes it go a bit faster. As you can see, we have lots of maneuverability, and let's just start up with the fire of a Vulcan. There we go. Let's fire a bit on this transport. Let's go up a bit, up and over. Let's switch to the autocannons. Fire the rockets. There we go. Shoot the Vulcan gun. Keep it down. Shoot more rockets. We need this thing out of commission. There we go. We got some things on the side. We're taking heavy damage. Heavy damage. Rockets. There we go. I think we got one. Yes, we got one. We've got another one over here. Ah, we've taken heavy damage. And that's the Nightingale done for. As you can see, it is not built for like heavy attacks, as you can see, which is of course a pain. Let's It's kind of too bad. Well, at least you can see the massive destruction it's caused right now. But of course, this thing has quite the amount of armor and shield. Because this transport did have tons and tons and tons of guns. So if we were to activate, let me see if I can copy this. Oh, well, that didn't go as planned. If we can actually engage the Vulcans, it should actually fire them directly at them. There you go. So now the Vulcans are firing. And you can see that these would make short. Yeah, of course it kind of looks like they're shooting an airsoft gun at an iron plate, but of course these would be used for fighters. So this is of course by no means a large ship attacker or interceptor. This is of course an exploration ship and a stealth ship. So that's kind of bad, but yeah, what did you expect? So this cockpit did take tons and tons of damage. Jesus. So let's see what the inner damage looks like. We have a slight hull breach here. Some small bumps on the bottom. Seems that most of the things here are intact. Some things are flashing. Damages have been taken. But it seems that everything is still working fine. So mostly the cockpit was focused first, which has the least armor, of course. But yeah, as you can see, a rocket hit us right here, but didn't even go that far. Now I have no clue where I am. Where am I? Oh wait, I'm right over here. So if I go like this way, oh, we have a commercial freighter. Okay. So right here we can see the breach where we are at, and let's see how far it has reached. So as you can see, this is really well armored. This is really thick, like yeah, so you won't really touch the inside very soon. Like you have to go through this thick metal, like 3 blocks thick metal, to reach the inside. So that's quite a lot of firepower, plus you do have some shields, so I would not recommend going full on with a battleship or frigate, because you will lose in this ship. Now with that, I'm not saying that this ship is completely useless against anything, because as I said earlier, this ship was made to counter... Oh, there's a military... Oh no, that's a military transporter. This ship was made to counter fighters and other smaller craft, and not the big ones like that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this this little spotlight. Yeah, that was actually basically it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Link is on the workshop, and that is my very first creation of my TSC fleet. Woo! Backflip. You know what's up. So yeah, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more and like keep updating and all that shizzle brizzle, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Laters.